And if you don't mind, I'll demonstrate. First off, you start your knees and your hips at the top of the swing, lower part of your body. Arms and hands follow, bringing you into position to hit.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back all to the Course Language Podcast. If you're a new member or an existing, we're wrapped to have you on board as we talk all things in the wonderful world of golf. Sam Hargrave, golf commentator, golf tragic. You can't be a commentator if you can't string a word together, Sam. Ryan Lynch, of course, a man who played on tour, won on tour, teaches others to do the same. He commentates on the tour as well. Lynchy, hello, mate.
Hello, Sammy, mate. You can never not string a word together. You're one of the best in the business, mate. Well, I haven't been playing a whole heap of golf, unfortunately. I've been struck down by the flu this week, and I'll tell you, the man flu is well and truly out there. So take care of yourselves out there, everybody.
Have you given it to me down the line?
Through the mics.
Jeez, you were crook.
It has been tough. But I'm back now. I'm back, thankfully. What about you, mate? You been on the links?
Yeah, well, you said it couldn't string a word together. Couldn't string a round together today. Just the 30 points, and I was lucky to get there in the end after 18 on the front. I'm having some back issues, so I'm going to use that as an excuse, but geez, I fell in a hole in the back. Let me play a little guessing game with you. If I was to tell you that I had a round where I had 2 wipes, 39 putts, didn't make a single birdie putt all day, what would you roughly think that my score would be off a handicap of 13?
Geez, it's not heaps of information there, but 2 wipes, 39 putts. If the rest of the holes you played okay, you could be up there. My guess I'm just going to guess 31 points.
35 last week on Thursday.
Yeah,
I couldn't actually, it was one of those rounds where I got off and I signed for my scorecard. I went, I think we need to check that again. No way I had 35, but he goes, yeah, you did. That's what I had. And so off we went, but it's been scratchy to say the least at the moment, but it's, always. Today was the closest, Lynchy, I came to my new mantra of don't get angry being.
Okay.
It was tested more today than it has been since I started that little mindfulness pursuit.
You've got a sore back, and we can kick off, obviously, all in tips, and we've got some things to discuss, obviously. We've got a big show coming up. But of the last 2 games that you've played, if you had access to a coach and you could only ask one question, what would that question be to help your game?
How do you play golf would be.
Very broad.
Yeah, I mean, we start there and narrow our focus. Because I want that, one question. You should, it's like, what is the meaning of life?
That's fair. That's too broad.
Lynchy, as you said, we've got a big edition of the Course Language Podcast coming up, all thanks to our very good friends at Callaway. Don't forget, buy the Quantum Driver. They'll throw in a box of the Chrome Tour golf balls. And if you buy 8 pieces of the Quantum gear, they'll throw in the bag to throw them in. So very generous, our friends at Callaway. Hey, one of the things that stood out to me, and I'm still loving, and I've gone back and listened to it a couple of times, and we're getting great feedback on the chat we did last week, on last week's episode with Geoff Ogilvy, our President's Cup captain. Paul Gow posted a comment on our Instagram post of that interview and said, best interview ever, which I think is pretty darn good praise, Lynchy, from a man who's conducted a few interviews himself over the journey. So we're getting great feedback from that. But one of the things that has stood out to me the couple of times I've listened to it, you asked the question, why were you such a good match play champion? He won the World Match Play 3 times. He's never lost a singles game in President's Cup. And you asked, what makes you such a good match play player? What makes a good match play player? He didn't hesitate in saying pennant. Straight away, pennant, without even thinking. And it just got me thinking about that whole concept, and I'm going to bring it up in Gimme or Putt That a little later. But all in the tips this week, for anyone who does play pennant, and Cheltenham have just brought back their junior pennant program, which Geoff started in, and before he jumped the fence to go over to Victoria, as so many do, and then Royal Melbourne. What makes a good pennant player to you? What's the secret to being a consistent and productive pennant player?
Yeah, well, first of all, pennant players are obviously the top 7 players at your club go and compete against other clubs in match play competition. And Geoff mentioned that. And I think the other interesting thing that he mentioned, and if you haven't listened to the interview, go back and have a listen. It's brilliant stuff. Was that for him, it put him in the present, right? So it doesn't matter if you have an 8 and the other bloke has a 3, you lose one shot. Okay, so what for him it helped him do was make sure that he was really in the present. And if his opponent hit a nice shot, then, okay, it's up to me. I've got to hit another great shot. Okay, I've got to make this putt to win this hole. Or my opponent's just made a long one. Now I have to hold this putt to halve this hole. So it's very high pressure, high stakes shot by shot, which I think the more I've thought about it after listening to that episode, the more I realize that I'm not playing enough match play. So I would highly recommend getting yourself out and playing with your mates, having a match within your Stableford comps and playing match play within your Stableford comps, or just go out and have a match with a mate who's off a similar handicap, or you can play handicap match play as well. But it's just such a great game to improve your own self-awareness, to get your mind where it needs to be, and also to start to feel a little bit of pressure where you probably wouldn't usually be feeling pressure. If you had a 12-footer for birdie and you know that you've got 2 putts for your par, you sort of relax a little bit in a long stroke play competition. But when you've got to make that birdie putt to halve the hole, all of a sudden the heart rate goes up a little bit, the intensity goes up a little bit, and you don't really feel that very often. So match play is one of the only games that you can play that sort of puts that pressure on you in every single hole. So go out there, play a little bit more match play, and enjoy it. And Geoff was exactly right. From pennant to interstate series, all the way up through amateur golf, where you play match play at the Australian Amateur, US Amateur, British Amateur. All of these are match play championships, and it hopefully we see a little bit more of it in the professional game, because I couldn't agree more. It really does. It ramps up the pressure from the first tee to where in a stroke play game you're sort of building your round, whereas in match play it's shot for shot. So I loved listening to that.
I love it. Go back and listen to that episode. It's on Spotify, where you might be finding us now, or on Apple Podcasts as well. And check out the YouTube video as well, because we recorded that too. And when you are on our YouTube channel, if you wouldn't mind just a little like and subscribe, that'd be very handy. Thank you very much. Hey, let's get into the scramble.
Did I actually answer that question? The question was, how do you become a good match play player? I just become a better golfer. Is how you become a better match play player.
I don't want a piece of you. I want the whole thing.
I'm a great scramble partner.
I don't want a piece of you. I want the whole thing.
Yeah, I did a few things here and there.
Heaps to get through in the scramble, and this might be in around the grounds as well, but we'll start off with it. The biggest news of the week is that LIV has a new investor. We don't know who they are. It might be that mob who was sort of trailing around, that investment firm who seemed to be right in amongst it with the crushers and getting the VIP treatment. There was rumours abounding, Lynchy, that it could have been Donald Trump himself, that he might have something to do with it. But they did announce at the New York event that they had secured investment for the next few years. What the makeup of that looks like is all to be revealed. Looking like a 10-tournament situation, which we let everybody know about last week. 5 on the US, 5 abroad. Players who are still owed money, and the reports are that there are a few, and maybe up to about 130 million. We spoke about that last week, but they'll be given equity. It's not guaranteed yet, which was the interesting thing. That the CEO, Scott O'Neill, could not confirm that Bryson DeChambeau and Jon Rahm would definitely be playing. And I think you could probably extend that out to maybe the guys that even finished top 4 for the season.
I think
there's a few who I don't think are guaranteed, despite the fact that they might want to. All the Ripper guys said we want to, but I still think I wouldn't be certain that every single player who's playing on the LIV Tour this year is going to be playing on it next year. Yeah,
and as we keep saying, this is a moving chessboard. I think there are rumours, obviously, that Bryson and his management company have a little vested interest in this potentially, but ultimately, I think the reason Scott O'Neill can't guarantee those major players or those big guys is because I think that the investment would hinge on those guys being around, right? Like, surely you're not going to be investing in LIV 2.0 if you don't have the star power of your Jon Rahms and your Bryson DeChambeaus and these types of guys. Like, I'm sure people aren't writing blank checks just for another golf league. there's plenty of them around. You could come down and write a big check for the Australasian PGA Tour if you want to.
Well, Bryson's still
league.
pushing. Yeah, Bryson's still pushing the fact that he wants to be able to play on both tours. That's not going to happen because Brian Rowlatt was asked about any kind of alignment, and he just said, "No, that there's nothing. We've discussed nothing, and we've agreed to nothing." So that ship looks like it has sailed.
I mean, look, still positive news, obviously, for LIV fans, of which there are many in Australia, understandably, and it's been a big success in Adelaide. Fingers crossed that we can still have an event like that, but ultimately, I think it'll still require those big names for people to show out and turn up. Particularly if things are quietened down for the Loud Tour in terms of no stage, no acts, no DJs, no bands playing afterwards or during or as part of the package. This is still, it's a sizable investment that somebody has written down, 250 million, but this is a tour that has spent billions and billions of dollars over the last 5 years. So it'll be significantly different to what we're used to in terms of an on-ground experience, I would imagine, and even from a competitive experience as well, I would imagine. I think they obviously need to lean into the team stuff as much as possible, Sammy.
I've been banging on about this since the whole thing started, and I've got support now, Lynchy. If we've got the audio, play Smiley Kaufman for me.
I think teams could have worked. It should have been nations, right? I think if they would have gone the route of having a Team Spain, Team Australia, that would have probably had more of an impact because it's something that people recognize. They're like, wait, what is a clique? Why is the branding and the logoing so odd, right? Like, this looks like something I could have made in my 7th grade graphic design class. It just didn't land.
Now, he has said what I've been saying since day one. What is a clique? What is a range goat? What is the biggest mistake that this thing all made at the very start was not leaning into the international teams. Like, you had an Australian team, you had an English team. If you know anything about even those two, there's an Ashes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they missed a big opportunity to get buy-in on a global scale from day one by getting people to play under their country's flag. Yep. You can still do it. You can still do that now if you want. There is the South American team. I know that all of South America is not one country; it's a continent. I get all that. No, I know. Spanish team. Yeah. Maybe it gets mixed up. That you go to John. I know you and Tyrrell have got a thing, but why don't you go play with Sergio and Jose Ballester and who am I forgetting there? David Pugh. What a team! Team Spain. Yeah. So you still got a chance to do that. I think that is the ace up your sleeve. I think you can get buy-in, and then you got your 5. Have 3 different American teams if you want. Yep. Set them up. You can have
regions. An East Coast, West Coast if you wanted to. And then again, this is going to be the difficulty because without OWGR points, which they now won't have because the Asian Tour is part of the strategic alliance, they don't have any way to get OWGR points. So you're just going to find it really difficult to get people to jump over and play international team golf when there's only 10 events a year. If you're a fair income, serious, professional golfer, like Jose Ballester or one of those young guys that jumped over, McKibben, for example, all of these guys are going to want to play majors at some stage. And the money would have to be, as it has been, out of this world to go over there and give up major qualification for that. And I don't think that this is enough money to persuade people necessarily. So it depends. I think that you're exactly right. Smiley's right. The international flavour is where the equity may be worth something because it doesn't matter what Aussie team they send out there. I'm going to be in support of the Aussie team, obviously. So you've got buy-in. But, I don't know how many players or what level of player you're going to be able to bring over with the prize money now being more than likely very reduced.
The other thing that Bryson wants to do, and I think this could be the ace up the sleeve as well, is he said his ultimate goal is to have golf course stadiums similar to TPC Sawgrass. That is a great idea. No, it is. It really is. If you can set up more stadium style, like, like the Phoenix, like what they do in Australia, just put it on steroids. Like if you've got certain holes that are just going to have like heaps of people surrounding them, like Australian Open was amazing on the right-hand side on 18 coming up. That was incredible. Put another stand on the other side and you're like, oh, this is insane. So that's the other great idea. Make it a fan thing.
That is impossible,
nothing else.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's impossible. Well,
it's not impossible. You're only limited by your imagination.
Yeah, well, I think his imagination is running wild there. You still need people to rock up. You can make a stadium as big as you like, but you still need star power and you still need people to actually turn up and be interested in the competition. Otherwise...
They are in Australia, they are in South Africa, they are in Asia, and they did in England. So there's 4 of your 10. And then if you can establish parochialism in America, whether it be a New York team, an LA team, a Chicago, Boston, like Texas, like you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you're saying, but there's just so many moving parts. You've got a golf course, like you're asking a golf course to give itself up every single year for how long? Does Bryson want to have these teams visiting these golf courses?
Well, Trump will give up all of his. So.
Yeah, I know. Well, but you're also asking for build-outs. What you're asking for there is a build-out that's going to take months and months and kill a lot of the grass, and this is a big issue that the Grange had in South Australia as well, is how long it takes to put these stands up, take them down, what it does to the golf course, how long the members are playing at a golf course every single year. Like, you're living in a bit of fairyland. And then if you take Rahm, let's leave Bryson, take Waco, take 4 of the best 10 guys out of that league, and you're asking people to show up based purely on nationalism. I find it really tough to, and sorry, I don't mean to be skeptical, but I think that this is a great dream and wish to have, but the product needs to be there, right?
It does. I mean, you got no other choice. You've got to have a point of difference, and they did, and they didn't do it right the first time around. Fair. With all due respect, they didn't quite get it. They had something. They did have something, Lynchy. We've seen enough evidence to show they had something, but they just didn't quite.
I couldn't agree more.
You get it. Wait, we got a segment called the Mulligan. They've got one. Yeah. It might not be exactly play it from the exact same spot with the exact same club, but it's.
I wonder whether or not if they can do this, whether or not the Sheffield Shield or like the state entities go and ask them about it and figure out how they can get more support at their competitions as well, mate. Because that's a state thing as well, mate.
We shall see. Hey,
we shall.
This is a really interesting thing. I don't know if you saw this, but do you? If you know it, great. If you don't, that's fine. Do you know who made the third most money this year from major championship earnings?
Is it a man?
It's not.
No. Nally?
Yeah.
Yeah. 1-2 finished 4th and played all right in the others as well. It's
so
impressive stuff.
Rory, Wyndham, and Nelly. There's your top 3. So this is, I think this is just a great story for where the trajectory of women's golf. It's probably that's probably the other mistake that LIV made straight away is that they really could have done something with men and women. Like there's a trick that they missed and team events with, but like I don't know, there was another point of difference. But anyway, we digress. It was back almost to that. Like I thought that was incredible.
Almost like it was rushed, wasn't it? LIV. No, I did see that. Very, very impressive, and it's great that the women are playing for significantly more money year on year at the moment. They obviously have 5 majors as well. Not to throw any shade or to change anything up, but incredible effort from Nelly. An amazing year. I mentioned that I was feeling very sick this week, and I have been watching a little bit of TV. I've bought a little blind rank for you. I watched The Hawk recently with Will Ferrell. Over the last few days while I've been lying in bed. Have you seen that yet?
Yes, I have. I watched it the moment it came out. What did you think?
Look, I thought it was all. I laughed a lot, but I'm a big Will Ferrell fan. I think that
Me too.
if you like Will Ferrell, you're gonna like this show. And look, I think that there was enough golf to make it a golf show, but the show wasn't about golf, which I thought was hilarious. There were some absolute belly laughs from me. I'd be curious to know what other people thought. What were your thoughts, mate?
I thought, look, it's a really hard sport to put a new twist on.
Mm.
And I think that there's a popularity dividend that gets applied. Tax is
No
not the
doubt.
right word because that's something that gets taken. But there's something that gets, like, if anyone else had done this, it may not have worked. But it's Will Ferrell who's putting out another, like, put it out there with Ricky Bobby. What's this guy from Semi-Pro?
I don't remember his name, but
He
also
does
good show.
a sport. He does a down and out, slightly off center, flawed sporting character in obscure sports, better than anybody in the history.
Blades of Glory.
Blades of Chaz
Yeah,
Michael
some
Michelson
good ones.
is
Look,
figure skating. Boom.
And it is, it's a different playground that he's playing in here as well, being not a movie, being a TV series. I thought, I know a lot of old disgruntled professionals. I thought he nailed the role pretty well, to be perfectly fair.
I think he did too. And clearly a part of the Callaway family as well. I don't know if you noticed all the Callaway product placement.
very clearly part of the Callaway family.
Who knows who's funded?
On the back of that, I want you to blind rank. I've got 6 shows here, just off the top of my head. Now, there are TV shows and movies involved here, but I've got 6 golf-related TV shows or movies that I want you to blind rank. Are you ready to go from there?
I'm in.
Okay. So we're going to start with my childhood favorite, Happy Gilmore.
2.
Okay.
1.
I'm going
to.
You're going to go number 1?
First.
What do you want to do?
I-
You don't know what else is in there. I may have
don't know
left
what
a
else
couple.
is in there.
I've definitely left a couple out. So I've just
That's a hard one up.
This is
that's
why
a hard,
you don't know.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one up front. 2. I have to give
2.
yourself wiggle room.
Okay. No worries. I actually haven't finished watching this one, but I thought I'd throw it in there as another TV show, The Stick with Owen Wilson.
Yeah, so I this wasn't too bad. And the thing about Hawk is that it sort of borrows a bit from, there's the Happy Gilmore element, there's the Stick element, there's always a douchebag. Like there's always a douchebag character.
What number?
How many are there? How many have you given me?
6.
I'll go 6.
Okay, put it at the bottom after giving it some praise. Next one, The Legend of Bag of Ants.
Oh, this could have been so much better, that movie.
Will Smith.
Yeah, Matt Damon. Matt Damon's swing wasn't too bad. I think I'll put that at 5.
Okay. Next one's Tin Cup.
I love Tin Cup. I love Tin. Speaking of sporting characters, Kevin Costner might be the GOAT at doing sports movies. How many baseball now, golf?
Done a lot.
So I'm thinking you've probably got Caddyshack coming, but this would be close to number 1 for me. I'm going to go.
This is your list, mate.
I'll go 3. I'll go 3. I'll go 3.
Very good. It is a blind ranking. Okay, the next one was the one we were talking about, The Hawk.
I've only got 4 or 1, haven't I? It can go at 4. It can go at 4.
Okay, nice. And finally, Caddyshack.
Well, I thought Caddyshack might be coming. It's got the original, and I think I'd toss a coin between it and Happy Gilmore, to be honest. I'm old enough that it was in my early years. Happy Gilmore was more formative years, but I'm happy to tip the cap to the original. So Caddyshack can go at number 1. Tin Cup could almost be
Great
number
show.
1 for me. I love that movie.
Fair. Very good, mate. Love it.
Renee Russo, one of the greatest 90s co-stars. You go back and like Lethal Weapon, she's in Tin Cup. There's not much she wasn't in the 90s. It makes every movie better. Don Johnson.
Very good, mate.
By the way, look out for the cameo of Phil Mickelson in Phil Mickelson cameos in Tin Cup.
If you want to go back and watch it, by all means.
Do you not love? I love Tin Cup.
No, I loved it. Absolutely. One of my favorites. Yeah, absolutely loved it. All right, mate. Should we move to Gimme and Putt That? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, we should, but you missed the greatest game ever played.
Yeah, I left that out.
Shia LaBeouf. who actually looked like he could swing a club. And there's another one about the guy who kept trying to lie his way into the Open. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, the Phantom
well.
of the Open.
That one. No, that was tough. I didn't know what you were going to have after Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. I did consider leaving Caddyshack out, but I thought that people would get there'd be a riot.
Well, then there's Happy Gilmore 2, Caddyshack 2. No, that's
exactly.
nicely done, mate. Blind rankings, beautifully done. All right, Gimme or Putt That. Essentially, this is the segment every week where we throw a statement up and you're either taking it and agreeing, or you're either swiping right if it's Tinder or swiping left. So if it's a gimme, you're having that, or you're going to make them putt that, which means you don't necessarily agree. You going first, or am I going first?
You can go first.
All right. Bryson DeChambeau says there isn't a golf fan in the world who doesn't want to see him play big tour events. Gimme or putt that? You agreeing with Bryson on that one?
Yeah, that's a gimme. I think that's right. Anyone who enjoys golf, anyone who tunes in and watches any golf, would be crazy to say that it's not better with Bryson
Absolutely.
around. Yeah.
You almost can't argue that, because even if you say you hate him, you still are tuning into him.
Well, that's the point. Love him or hate him, he makes you feel something. So everyone wants to see how he goes, whether you want him
he might
to
be the
succeed or
ultimate,
fail.
because he's obviously incredibly popular as well, but there's still an element that see him as the villain. There might not be a player who can, Rory might actually be the other one that can straddle that line so well between, like, he's amazing at all the autographs he signs. He leaves nothing unsigned, or doesn't turn down a selfie or anything like that. But then you can have moments like the Open where you go, oh, come on, man, that's
totally.
He can do everything in the
Love
fan
him or hate him.
space.
Okay, golf is mentally more difficult than physically.
Gimme.
Yeah.
Gimme. Absolute gimme. Especially for men, especially for blokes.
Fair. I think there's
Our egos tell us that we should be amazing. I always tell you the story about the guy wrapping his tree around at Cheltenham and his mate yelling out, "Why are you getting out? You play twice a year." Definitely.
Physically difficult to do.
He made great contact with the tree. He flushed the tree. Gimme. That's a gimme every day of the week.
Yeah.
PGA Tour of Australasia needs to create a match play event. It is something that, so we heard from Geoff saying that the reason he was so good at match play is because of Pennant. Pennant isn't done the world over, but it's something that is part of the Australian golfing experience. So we should have a tournament, the highest level, that reflects it.
Yep, gimme. I think that would be. It's just really hard to broadcast, which is the other thing that Geoff was talking about. You've got so many balls in the air, so many matches going on. It's difficult to broadcast, which means you need a smaller group of people, potentially, as we've discussed in the past. But gimme for sure. We'd love to see some match play on TV, I reckon.
If not that, then what about the old skins game? Do you remember? I had a look at some of those the other day. Remember when Norman and Watson and Nicholas were all here?
They're so good.
In the 80s playing for this is 25 grand on the line. That is some of my earliest golfing memories of the old skins game. The great white shark versus the golden bear versus whatever other animal we could associate with the other players. That was elite level. That was prime golf extravagance, wasn't it? The skins game.
It was
got to
great.
get the skins
So
game
good.
back.
Okay, my turn. A little bit of conversation going around at the moment for some reason about shrinking the game, and the game is getting too big. Gimme or putt that? Should we be shrinking the game?
In what aspect?
It's just sort of all encompassing. The amount of people that are going to golf tournaments, the amount of people that are yelling out, or the amount of people playing. I thought this was a bit of an easy one, to be honest. But
no, I'll putt that.
Yeah,
I'll putt that. You green and growing or ripe and rotting. You got to evolve or die.
You got to grow. You keep growing. Yeah.
This is the entertainment era. Yes, we've got fans that have taken that too far. We've seen that at the Ryder Cup. But this is the entertainment era. If you want people to stump up their money or their eyeballs, the money to go or their eyeballs to watch, then you've got to put on a show.
Right.
So I would putt that. Every every amateur golfer needs to keep a copy of the PGA Tour average stats with them at all times for a little bit of perspective.
No, Putt That. I think it's good to have an awareness. I don't think you need to have them on you at all times. Just have a bit of an awareness as to what your skill level on average is required to do. As you said, you had 39 putts the other day. You had 35 points. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be at tour level.
No.
Oh, no.
That's Nan's hole-in-one trophy, copying another
doesn't
battering.
want to be there.
What has happened there? Can I just, for people who, because I think this will help people, Lynchy. I actually think that when you read these out, it's just a good little thing for people to go, oh, okay, maybe things aren't so bad. So the first one people aren't going to like, average driving distance of 305.2 yards. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about average club head speed. But greens in reg, for the average PGA Tour player this year, at the end of the regular season, the greens in regulations, 66%. So 66% of the time, these guys, the best in the world, are hitting the greens on their approach. Their scoring average is 70. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about average birdies. Don't worry. Average putts, 28. That's something to keep in out. 28.99.
Average birdies is actually average birdies is a good one.
Oh, okay, 3.72.
Yeah, it's not as many as you'd think.
Not as
Like
many.
if you have one birdie around, you're basically on par with a PGA Tour average.
Yeah,
depending on your handicap, obviously.
So they're missing almost 1 in 4 greens, and the driving accuracy 60%. So those two numbers, driving accuracy and greens in reg, I reckon are really good to have in the back of your mind. That the very best in the world are going at 66% greens in reg, 60% driving accuracy. And maybe don't worry about this one, 1.87 million earned, but that's not, we don't need that one. But I just thought that might make everyone, including me, feel just a little bit better. Charlie Hull prefers golf from the 70s. Give me your Putt That when she's watching. If she's got a choice to watch golf, she likes to watch golf in the 70s.
Yeah, gimme. So would I.
Like
I'm
one.
with her.
I thought you'd like that one.
Love that from Charlie Hull. Not, even just for the fashion. Absolutely love it.
Oh, man, it's good for the fashion.
I mean,
Yeah.
Monty came out this week talking about playing back then was like playing 5D. It's a little bit more one-dimensional these days in the way that the strategy is played out and the skill level that is required to sort of move your golf ball around the golf course back then, the types of shots that you would see. I mean, if we had the technology that we had these days on the cameras that we had playing in the 70s, I think people would be blown away by some of the ball movement in the air and the types of trajectory changes and the amount that the top tracer or the tracer was moving on the screen would blow people's mind, I reckon.
One of the cool docos you can go and watch about all that is The Battle in the Sun. Jack Nicklaus and Tom Watson, I think was it 78?
Turnberry,
79? Yeah, and they do a little segment at the start on the fashion, and it is outstanding.
Yeah, it is.
We're very lucky enough to be in the Travis Matthew and everything like that, but I'll tell you what, if Travis Matthew did a throwback line, I'd be all over it. There was some good stuff in there. Nicely done. Give me your Putt That for another week. Course Language, all thanks to Callaway. Quickly, just around the grounds, Lynchy, a fair few big names have missed the Tour Championship this year. The FedEx St Jude starts tonight. Minwoo and Adam Scott, the only Aussies who have made that top 70. But Jason Day missed along with some other big names, and that's end of a massive streak for J Day. Yeah,
18 in a row. Unfortunately, big injury issues this year. Struggled a lot. Hasn't been able to play a great deal since around the Masters time, where he played quite well, to be fair. But yeah, shame that came to an end. Brooks Koepka obviously missed as well. Tony Finau, another big name. I thought that Brooks Koepka's interview after missing was... I love hearing players be really honest, and as self-critical as he was of himself, I love hearing honesty, and often you get the honesty at the lowest points, like when players have just missed a cut or just made a cut or just missed the playoffs, for example. As opposed to asking them questions when they're playing really well or having won or anything like that. So interesting comments, called it pathetic, used pretty strong language about himself. I don't think that if his son had played the same year he would have been making the same comments around that. And I always think that's a bit of a barometer to self-talk and how important it is. But I love the honesty. I loved hearing that sort of stuff. It obviously means a lot to him. So, yeah, some big names missing the playoffs this year, and they kick off, obviously, this week. In fact, tonight they'll start.
Tonight. TPC Southwind in Tennessee, in Shelby County. So that's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see what they do with this over the next couple of years to make it even more a better finale than what it is. You know, Rory skipping this stop last year tells you everything you need to know that the system's not quite right. He's going to be teeing it up this week, but I think he's back from Ibiza. Hasn't he been having a time? Why is everyone getting so up? Like, why are people so, like, what's the problem with him being in Ibiza, seeing a mate DJ? Doesn't matter. That's 6 a.m.'s like 9 p.m. in Ibiza. That's sort of where it doesn't matter.
Time doesn't exist in Ibiza. It doesn't matter.
No, he's just having
anybody having a crack at that. Yeah.
He's having a good time. Let him go. I reckon he's earned it.
No doubt.
Hey, just quickly, President's Cup stand. Next week we might do a President's Cup draft, Lynchy, but President's Cup rankings, there's not a whole lot of change at the moment. The top 10 for the US, Scheffler, Young, Henley, Burns, Griffin, Morikawa are the top 6. Then Goddard, Spawn, Chauvelet, Clark, Thomas, Bridgman, Batia, English, and Gerard are the top 15 all in all. Have you got the internationals up there?
The internationals, top 6, Siwoo Kim, Ryan Fox, Hideki Matsuyama, Minwoo Lee, Tom Kim, and Corey Connors. Corey Connors is coming down to play the Aussie Open and Aussie PGA, which is awesome. Yes. Adam Scott sitting just outside Corey Connors at number 7. It kind of falls away from there. I guess the question I have for you, or you can pose it back to me, Jason Day is at 9, missing the playoffs, and with the injury concerns and all that sort of stuff. Do you think Geoff takes Jason Day with that risk, or do you think this may just disqualify Jason Day from the international lineup?
Oh, I don't know. Does what you've done in the past, how much does that factor in? I don't have his record up in front of me. If you want to have a look at that while I'm waffling on, but I mean,
it'll be a tough decision. I mean, look,
it's a really tough decision.
He's played many of these, and to be perfectly honest, like
great teammate.
The names fall away very quickly on the OWGR from there.
So Sung Jae Im's got runs on the board, but Hisatsune, I don't know, like Nick Taylor, potential Aldrich Potgieter. If you like Potgieter and Shaper are like the Koivens, sort of discussion. Do they bring in a young gun and sort of bed them in now and look for the next however many years and President's Cup in a row? But maybe he gets in just off the fact that, and then you just back him that whatever's going wrong. And he's even said this year, even he doesn't know where the ball's going. So
yeah, exactly. It's tough.
I think it's going to be a tough
battle for the.
He'd be pretty honest, Jason Day, though, wouldn't he? If Geoff rings him and he says, "How you going?" If he would say, "Nah, mate, don't." Or if he knows he can fix it, he'd go, "Yeah, pick me." But I don't think he'd be one to go, "I'll pick me no matter what."
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I know he does love this competition. I know he loves the President's Cup. He loves team golf. But I think you're right. I think Jason Day needs to get his body right just for himself for next year. If playing more golf potentially harms those chances, then I would say that he would be very honest with Geoff, no doubt about that. But he would be desperate to play, I'm sure.
Well done to Kelsey Bennett, 3rd on the LET Order of Merit at the moment after becoming 5th at the PIF in London in a pretty strong field as well. She's having a great year. Let's get to the Mulligan, Lynchy. Now, this might be the all-time greatest Mulligan handed out that we've ever seen. I don't even know if I really want to pile on this bloke any more than it's already been piled on, or whether he deserves everything that's come his way. But what some people are describing as the worst cheating scandal in the history of club golf.
Yeah. The fake hole in one.
This is the fake hole in one.
Yeah. If you haven't heard about this, there was a bucket or a prize pool where everyone puts in money over a period of time. Whoever gets a hole in one first takes that prize pool. And bloke who apparently has got runs on the board, there's video footage of him rolling up at 5 o'clock in the morning, creating a pitch mark, putting a ball in the hole. And then on the first tee, he let it, they were off first. He told his playing partners that he had an illness in the family and that at some point during the round, he's going to have to take a phone call. So he's premeditated this phone call so that he could run off. It happened obviously as he approached this par 3. He said I'll quickly run up. I've got to take this phone call. I'll play my shot and I'll take the phone call, so he could run off and pretend to hit a shot. And he's claimed the hole-in-one prize. The video came out of them celebrating on the green. There was some suspect issues. I think this bloke deserves to be piled on harder than anybody else in the world. I don't care how remorseful you are. This is disgraceful.
It's almost like that with great power comes great responsibility. The level of detail and planning that's gone into this.
Yeah.
As you said, he got there early, made the pitch mark, and then waited for the players to find the ball. I thinned it. I'm not sure where it went. So he'd orchestrated a thinned pitch mark at the front of the green, and then one of them found it. Oh, it's in the hole. Hey! Yeah. And then the people started to doubt it. He didn't realise there was CCTV. Of the area where his car was. Yeah, absolutely. And since then, he's a former college golfer, by the way. He plays off, I think, 2 now or +2 or something like that. It doesn't matter. But his family are getting abused. He's getting abused. He's asked people to stop the abuse. It is quite extraordinary. I don't know what would drive someone to those lengths. To be so premeditated, mate.
It's a disgrace.
If you're that meticulous and well thought out, then use your powers for good. For goodness' sake, like
no,
it's just
horrendous.
The only thing I can think of.
I'm sorry that his family's getting abused, but he deserves all the abuse he gets. This is a disgrace. This is disgusting. This is the lowest of the low. You cannot do this in this game, and you should be absolutely shunned. I would be surprised if he is able 100%. To get a game with anyone going forward at this point. If you're willing to do something like this, I doubt every aspect of your golf game in general. I don't, whether you're off 2 or +2, whether you played college golf. Like, if you are up for doing this, I doubt everything in your golf. And from my perspective, just shunned. Sorry.
Not even Patrick Reed's got going. Come on, man.
That's a bit too far. Exactly right.
The other thing, Lynchy, we've got to get better at is our challenges, which we've done a poor job of whenever we've won or lost with our drafting for each of the tournaments.
Yeah, we've had to stop the drafting until you finish those 500 putts, mate. Where are we at?
I'm up to 250. But did you see the blokes who who lost a challenge and the punishment was that he had to go out and play 18 holes with no ball?
So good. There was
This is some of the best content
or a draft it was a punishment for a super coach or a draft type game, obviously in the US. And the punishment was that he had to go to a golf course, sign his name in with 3 randoms at a public golf course, and play around, not say anything, not explain why he was doing it, but play around with no golf ball. And pretend to tee it up and hit every single shot. And it seemed like the guys that he played with were good sports. One of the best challenges I've ever seen. That was great stuff, Sammy.
The guys that he was playing with were I just thought it was elite. I thought it was some of the best content I've ever seen. Some of the guys he was playing with are like, oh, do you mind if I step on your line? And they were really getting into it. At one point, he pretended to duff a chip. Like, the commitment to this was, this is my point. If you're going to commit so fully to something, make it this, not your cheating, not your attempt at thievery to the club money. Go and do this. The commitment to the bit of this bloke who was pretending to duff chips, snap hook, like all that stuff, was the highest level I've ever seen. And I think he's won social media content. I don't think it'll ever be beaten. I think he's clocked it. I think we can all stop now and say, this has been great. Thanks for coming, everybody. Social media shut down.
He won't want to lose Lynchy, the super coach next year.
Not at all. Each and every week, we like to finish up with a Course Language Confessional. And this week, we've been blessed with somebody recording one sending it in via our Instagram, which you can do. There's a button you can click on, you can voice record and leave it on there on our Instagram at Course Language Pod, or you can email us courselanguagepodcast@gmail.com. So a big thanks to Peter Downs this week, who has sent this in via Instagram, where we recorded this week's Course Language Confessional. We'll be in touch, Pete, to send you one of the Callaway or Travis Matthew caps.
I was going to do my best effort at a Course Language Confessional. Some mates, we always play skins, $5 a skin, and there's also extra skins available, closest to the pin par 3 and closest third shot on a par 5. One of the blokes who's always one of the greater characters going around hit one in on our 10th hole at Bella. Andrew Rowan's his name, and he hit it pretty close, but he was the furthest away. He's always a slow golfer, so he's mucking around. And then he walked up to the green and saw his ball sitting somewhere near the middle of the green, maybe 20 foot from the pin. He'd assumed he'd gone a bit long. So while the others were lining up putts, he just walked up and started hitting his ball from where it had been sitting to where he thought one of us had marked it for him and moved it. In the end, he got the $5 skin from us for getting the greenie on that hole, but had to take a wipe with an 11 because he took 6 putts to hit it over to where he thought it was before picking it up and realising it. 2-stroke penalty. Instead of having around 38 points on the day, it put him back to 35, and he lost the lobster as well, which is a $20 on the hole. So one of the greater confessionals I've come across.
Oh, yes. Oh, Pete.
Oh, Pete, that is very good stuff. So he'd
like
assumed that someone had marked his ball, and he just started putting it back to one of someone else's markers. And he's taking a wipe
Just
on the
mucking
hole.
around while everyone... Oh, that's brilliant. That
and
is
he's
so good.
Lost money on the day too. That's great stuff, Peter. Thank you very much for sending that through.
Course Language Podcast at Gmail to send. We've still got a couple of hats left, thanks to Callaway and Travis Matthew, or at Course Language Pod. You can record it there on Instagram. Lynchy, that's it from us for another week. If you're shopping for Travis Matthew, Course Language 20 at checkout. Same with Ogio, the best apparel and the best bags in golf. Mate, that's it from us.
Hey, hit them well. Have a great week. Hope they go in the hole nice and fast for you. And let's hope this Melbourne weather starts to clear up a little bit. I know a lot of people had to cancel games early in the week while I was tucked up in bed with the man flu.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. You'd be doing us a very big favour. We really appreciate that. And if you are listening to us via Spotify or via Apple Podcasts, please subscribe to us on there as well. And if you're not following us on Instagram, give us a click there too. And remember what happens on Course Plays on Course Language.
Hit them well.